You can just do it at 6:45 if you can, all right?
Awesome. Cool.
All right, let's get it on. Or do we start or not?
Yes, sir.
Clap it up. All right. Let's get it on. I'll take your questions in the room and online, all right? Today we're going to the topic of creation, bloodlines in the scriptures, if you don't mind, warrior. If you don't mind, the water. Please, 2 fingers, 2 other. Go and power in the Bible, a very important thing that most people believe is not important at all. They believe money is more important than power. Lust, pleasure, leisure are more important than power. And what you'll find is that power is the most important thing. And there's only one way to get it, and that's given by the Lord our God, all right? We'll go into that. And I believe creation, I think it was something else, but I can't recall. We'll get it, we'll rock it and roll it with it later, all right? You can lose the mascot, don't sweat it, all right? Next, let's go. Go ahead.
If I could, sir.
I'm ready.
If I could, sir, I wanted a general breakdown on the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17, verses 5 and 6.
No problem.
I'm gonna read it if you're ready for it, sir.
I'm ready right now.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 17, verse 5. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord, and in the 6th place he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th.
You want me to break this down, or is there something specific? Is my mic loud enough? Can everyone hear me? Check online, make sure I'm good to go. All right, go ahead.
I really wanted the use of the 5 operations. I know they got the 5 senses, but I don't.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's the 5 senses.
All right, Most High in Christ.
Right? Sight, smell, hear. What else? See, touch. Right, those are your 5 senses. But the Most High gives you that 6th sense, which is where that term 6th sense. Have you ever heard that before in your life? That's where that comes from, because there's another sense that comes from the Most High, that comes from the Spirit. You get my point? It's not something that you can touch or smell or taste or see, but it is factual nonetheless. You understand? All right? Good to go. Please. Ice with the tonic water and separate with the scotch, if you don't mind. I appreciate it, Warren. All right, go ahead. Anything else? Let me give you a few questions that I've been asked about throughout the week. All right, I'll try to rock and roll them.
I got a question online, sir, if you want that.
Okay, go ahead.
This question, sir, is from Officer Debarmov.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Shalom, sir. Can we please have a breakdown on the creation story from Genesis?
All right, I'll go into this as much as I can, right? Preserving time. Let's start, all right? You're going to also need to understand this, to look up the Big Bang Theory, right? You'll also need to look up Pangea. You will also need to look up what a gas giant is. I believe Saturn is a gas giant, or Neptune. You can look it up. It'll tell you which planets in the Earth's solar system are gas giants. Why am I bringing up these specific scientific theories? Because these theories are backed up in the Bible, right? The Bible has said these things before scientists developed enough proof through their process to believe in these things. Our forefathers already knew them because they communicated with the creator of heaven and earth. And so you're going to read about things in the Bible thousands of years before a telescope, thousands of years before NASA, thousands of years before, the Hubble telescope. But our forefathers always knew it because God said it. Much like the earth being round. The earth, I believe his name was Pythagoras. He figured out the earth was round during the time of Alexander by measuring the distance of shadows on obelisks on the other side of the world. And he knew that the earth was round. But the Israelites, through the inspiration of God, have known the earth is round, brother. My God, since the time of Moses. Or before that, all right? I'll break down creation for you, a few lines of it, so you can understand. Shalom, Mori. Go ahead. Let's start at Genesis 1 and 1.
Come on, sir.
Please log the other questions. I'll try to get to them, all right?
Come on, sir.
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning.
In
God,
the what?
In the beginning.
That's where you want to start with this breakdown for the officers, all right? In the beginning, right? This is a giant question. Every nation has this question all throughout time, recorded history. Everyone wonders about what their origin is. And if you're a man with children, you want to be able to explain where they come from, right? These things matter. Well, in the beginning, this is where everything comes from. If you want to know where you come from, this is the start of all life on earth. This is the start of the sun, the stars you see in the sky, the ozone layer, the birds and the bees. This is the history of the world from the beginning. Go ahead.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Now, once again, what is this the origin story of? This is not the origin story of every individual, solar system, or of the Milky Way, or whatever else you've learned of now. This is specific. First, it's going to talk about creation itself, and then the Most High is going to hone in on the earth and where the earth comes from, and the things that you can see in the sky from the earth. Keep going.
Concern. Verse 2. And the earth was without form and void.
Did we skip down? Let there be light. Did we get there yet?
Not yet, sir.
Please go ahead. So at this time, the earth was without form and void. Go ahead.
And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
So now what does that mean? The earth was without form and void. What does without form mean? Go ahead.
It means that there wasn't no ball that we call earth.
The earth had no shape, right? The gas giants in the earth solar system now, they have a shape. There's a shape to them, right? The earth at this time had no shape. It was without form. Go ahead.
Concern. And void.
And void. What does void mean? It had no substance. It had no solid matter. The gas giants today have no substance. Look up gas giant first, all right? Yes, I'll explain those to you, right? These are some things that scientists only recently discovered. That the planets that all of you might have known about since you were kids, a lot of them have no substance, meaning they're void. If they were here, you could put your hand in it and pull your hand out because it's all gas. It's a gas giant. They're not solid. Give me a few planets that are gas giants and then explain them. Officer up front.
Let's read the four gas giants in the solar system are Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter.
So these are, now explain what a gas giant is, please.
I have it here, sir.
Go ahead.
A gas giant is a giant planet composed mainly of hydrogen and helium.
Everyone, go ahead. Go ahead.
Gas giants are also called failed stars.
Failed stars, right? Meaning their theory is that these planets were going to become a star, but then they didn't. So then they stopped in their evolution right at the point that they got form, but never got any substance. And there's four of them: Saturn, Neptune. I appreciate it, Warrior. And what else?
It says that Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
Everybody gets that. Meaning they're totally gaseous, right? They're gaseous. Some ice, you can just put your hand right through it and pull your hand out, all right? So now imagine in the beginning, the earth was like that. Come on.
So I would like to correct myself, sir.
Please.
Uranus and Neptune are considered to be giant planets because they do have substance. Is a more of a, it says it's composed mainly of heavier volatile substances, which referred to as ices. So they're kind of like ice giants.
I believe that's the point I was just bringing out.
Yeah,
that they're like ice, some ice, hydrogen. These are not planets that you can walk on like the earth. Everybody understands. Well, in the beginning, the earth had no substance and it had no shape. So just imagine the earth in its atom state. in a state of atoms, and they're loose, and they're just floating there like water you would spill on the ground, right? That's a good way to try to visualize it. Spilt water on the ground, it just flows. It's just there. You can put your hand in it, take your hand out, but it's void. It doesn't have shape, and it doesn't have matter. All right, keep going.
On the scripture or the information?
The scripture, please.
Yes, sir. And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
What's the face of the deep? The face of the deep is the face where the earth is. That's the deep, right? It's called the deep for the same reason we have the deep blue sea or the deep ocean, meaning the face of that space that you would look up in the sky, or if you were in on a spaceship and you were looking down at the earth, that would be the deep, the place where the earth will be once it's made. Imagine staring out into the ocean, right? That's what the face of the deep is. Keep going.
Concern.
Also, if I could, you need to remember this through this breakdown, that the earth will constantly be synonymous with water. With water, just like I just said, spaceship, it's the same thing because the space has many of the same properties as water. Keep going.
Yes, sir. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Now, what does that mean? The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Who knows? God's will, God's authority to make things happen. That's the Spirit of God. That Spirit of God is right now in the Israelite school of UPK under Commanding General Yohana. That's where it lives right now. But the Spirit of God has always been here, making things happen that God wants to happen.
Right.
Well, this is what happened in the beginning. He wanted to take those atoms and those molecules that were loose and floating and just sitting there and were nothing. And he wanted to make something out of it, man. He wanted to make something out of what was not there, something out of nothing. That's also another precept. And he did it. He did it with his power, with his will. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. And God said, let there be light.
That's what he said. He wanted that. He said, let there be light. Kablam! Years later, I think around in the 70s or 60s, I think it was that cat in that wheelchair. It might have been somewhere, someplace else. I forget his name. That cat that can't walk, talk, or do anything but be a dead body in a chair. What's his name? Stephen Hawking. Give himself a hand. The water.
I think he died.
Stephen Hawking's died. Oh, that's up to him. All right. Moving on. I believe he's the one that came up with the Big Bang or black holes or both of them, right? Where he realized that they existed, right? Scientists hypothesized that the universe or the earth or creation came from an explosion. And I don't know if you've ever seen an explosion before on TV. There's darkness and then there's light, like the explosion that takes place in the combustion engine. A big pow, a burst of light, or the explosion that takes place in every light bulb that you click on when the filament ignites, like the explosion that takes place on a lighter when you flick it, right? Let there be light is an explosion, the Big Bang. Come on.
I was gonna say also like on one of those super volcanoes, how it will cause everything to go dark and all the clouds to form, and then the lightning and then the explosion of
Listen, volcanoes are where islands come from.
Awesome.
And continents come from an explosion. When you see Hawaii and you see Manhattan came from an explosion under the sea. An explosion happens and lava pours out of a hole under the sea and made Manhattan and made all of the land we see around here today. And new islands form every day throughout the Pacific with volcanoes that erupt under the sea or erupt from land. They spill down into the ocean, and now you get new land because of an explosion, right? Now think how many years ago this was written. Now scientists today know where land comes from an explosion. Well, in the beginning, before there was an earth, the Most High created an explosion. Let there be light. Bang! Go ahead.
The supposed father of the Big Bang Theory is Georges Lemaitre. He was a Belgian cosmologist.
What year?
What? He was born 1894 and died in 1966. I'm going to find the year.
No sweat. 1966. That sounds about right. Check on the black hole. See if that was that cat. Go ahead.
So would it be correct to infer or conclude that since the volcano is bringing out that new explosion in the material that's in there to create life, could that also be the solid or the liquid form of the gases that were around in space that sparked and created the actual Earth? Because that's what's inside.
Okay, think more. Yes, think the more the Lord activating those atoms.
Concert.
Making the chemical reaction, like making the reaction, much how
Like
fertilizer and this and phosphate and that. You activate, add heat to them, or add some action to them, or rub them, or give them friction, and they'll explode. So now the Earth was like that. It was, Vicks. What's the word? It was fluid, and then he activated it with his will. He activates those chemicals, gives them the heat or the friction that they need to react, and that's how we have land. That's how we got the Earth. Up front, go ahead, Abun.
I was just going to say that you get heavier particles like metals, etc., from stars imploding and exploding.
That's it.
Gold in outer space.
And he know. Give him a hand. He tell you about space. He know. He's a goddamn rocket scientist, and that is not an exaggeration, right? He knows where they come from. Explosions. You understand? And that's where life from. And it's such an excellent metaphor to everything in life. This amazing act of violence creates such peace and such calm and such order, because friction is given to something to put it in order. And if you add that to everything in your life, then you will have a life that's in order. Order in life doesn't come from passivity. It doesn't come from compliance or relenting. It comes from a bang. From you going into your life and saying, I am going to give conflict to the trauma of childhood. I'm going to give conflict to the disorder of my life. I'm going to start a stir. I'm going to give conflict to Harlem on Lexington Avenue. I'm going to start a stir out here. I'm going to kick things up and disturb the peace out here. Now, when that happens, Harlem will be in peace. And everything gets in order because people decided not to lay down and sing Christmas carols while everyone dies.
Right.
And this is the creation of all life. Everything was there, floating and inactivated, and then God activated it with an explosion, which our oppressor calls the Big Bang, which the Bible calls light. Everyone understands. Go ahead.
Keep reading, sir.
Please.
Concert. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Verse 4, and God saw the light, that it was good.
What does that mean? Meaning when he saw this explosion, it was exactly what he wanted. It was perfect. That's how he wanted things, right? Which is once again going into what this is. This is his will happening. At that time, he had angels to fulfill his will. The same angels that are in this room tonight and everywhere you are to protect you. And then you're here in this physical realm to do his will as well. Continue.
Yes, sir. And God divided the light from the darkness.
So now what's the light? The light is where, usually I need to break this down on the chalkboard. Someone might have to do it if you want to. We need to get the camera. You got to draw the thing. If you're breaking it down, it's better. When I was taught it, it was drawn for me, and that's the way I visualize it clearer. There you go. You draw the gases up on there, little dots, and then you draw an explosion like that big old spiky circle, right? You draw that, that's the bang, and then you separate that bang from space, right? You divide it from space. So now you have everything under the ozone layer or under a barrier, and then everything outside of a barrier. And so you want to visualize it like that. The earth is right here, all floaty. just like water you spill on the ground, and then bang, it's hot. Now he puts a barrier around it. So now what's in space, Salakia? Please, get it on now, get it on. What's in space doesn't get inside this barrier. Later on, this will be what you know as the ozone layer, which is a protective barrier keeping what is in space from what is here on Earth, keeping them separate. All right. That's why the Earth has not been hit with some gigantic asteroid or comet and killing everybody every 2 weeks, because of this barrier that's protecting the Earth from the asteroids and the comets and too much sunlight, right? Getting into Earth and killing everybody with heat, because there's a barrier around the Earth that the Most High put there to protect the things on Earth from the things in space. Everyone gets it, right? Go ahead. Come on.
Concern. Verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
So now at this time in creation, day is what's inside the ozone layer. Night is what's outside. Everybody gets it. Just like if you're on the Earth, there's sun, you can see the sunlight, but then when you go into space, it's dark. It's dark in space, right? So that's the situation that we're in right now.
And that's hilarious, because we're on Earth and we can see it all bright and everything. But once we go out, and once the astronauts go out into space, it's dark. But the sun is still there.
The sun is still there.
But it's dark.
The sun, yeah, that's correct. But now it's dark. Keep going. Correct.
Constant.
Go ahead.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Man, come on, you gotta do that thing better. Get him on camera, see what y'all dealing with. So he drew a lion, a lion's mane.
That's because he's left-handed. This is like, I drew this in my notebook.
Go ahead.
This is like the gas station.
Okay, hold up. Now let me come over. I think he's getting it. Go ahead,
right
break it down.
So this is the earth without form.
Okay.
This is like the gas station.
Okay.
Then he said, let there be lights in the middle. This is the vein within the gas.
Within the gas.
Right.
Let me give it another try.
Where's the
finger?
What do you raise it?
No excuses.
They don't know you're an artist, sir.
Go ahead and get
about that.
agitation. I would probably visualize this like.
Don't pull so much, because you're going to disconnect it.
Okay.
That's it. So now it's particles.
Come.
It's floating. It has no shape. It's nothing. That's that, right? If you look at it, you would just see the Earth. It doesn't have any shape. It's void, meaning there's space in between these particles, right? And then what's this?
This one here is the let there be light concept.
Now, I would do that.
I did get that.
I got it.
Right, concept.
Right? Boom. All right, let's go there. What do you got here?
This is the earth forms. So that's just the earth.
It's the Earth. That's solid. So,
And then this is the firmament where the earth is in the middle.
so then right here is night. Right?
Right.
And right here is day.
Give Joe Muhammad a hand.
Where do you think most of this calendar
So that's that, right? So now that's just a visual form. You want to think about it like that. Keep going.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
So now let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Once again, this is, if you want to look up in the beginning, the foundation of space travel. I believe it was in Florida or in Houston when they practiced spacesuits and spacewalks under the water in diving suits. Come on.
So NASA's training center, one of their training exercises is they'll put you in a pressurized tube underwater and spin you around. Different things with you.
That's correct. And they'll take you out and you'll repair things in a diving suit. The diving suit predates the spacesuit, and that's where the spacesuit comes from the diving suit, as you can clearly see by looking at it if you don't know already. All right. So now, because the elements are the same, so many of the properties are very similar. How cold it is, the floating aspect, right? So now what did the Most High do? The waters are what we call space. That's the waters, which is why they designed spaceships, right? Even now, I believe NASA is working on solar sails to use the sun, the heat from the sun, to push spacecraft through space. Abun, break it down. I know you already know. Give it to him.
If you use solar energy and some physics to propel the ship in the similar fashion to use wind on Earth to propel a boat.
Which means there's a form of wind in space.
Solar wind.
Solar wind. That's in space. And we have our own wind down here because it's so many of the properties are the same. Now imagine how many years ago they know this. I'm talking Genesis, I'm talking Moses, and Moses got it passed down from Adam. Adam understood that what was up there was very similar to the waters, never going up there, never having a spaceship. And yet when the first men went into space, they floated. And in the Bible, it's called the water. That's the proof of God's knowledge, which is the greatest knowledge ever and is not in conflict with science. Right. God's knowledge confirms science. It's how you know when something in science is true. Right. You know it's true because it will completely coincide with what is in the Bible. The Big Bang Theory coincides with what's in the Bible. The ozone layer coincides with what's in the Bible. Nature, seeds being in itself coincides with the Bible. All right, keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. Mm-hmm. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters.
So now here we go. Here's the ozone layer being formed,
which were above the firmament,
sealing everything up. The firmament is the ozone layer, right? This is another case where science is a co-witness to what the prophets of God have already said. Keep going.
Yes, sir. And it was so.
It was so, meaning it happened. He wanted it and it happened. Keep going.
Verse 8.
Now, if you don't believe this, then how in the hell could they know about this then? Like if God is not real, and if this book is simply just a book of fairy tales, then how in the hell could they know about this with no telescope, with nothing? How would they know? How would they know that you should wash your hands in Leviticus with no knowledge of microscopes and germs at all? Yet in Leviticus, wash after sex, wash after this, wash that, wash your clothes, bathe, and then come back to the congregation at nightfall. For what? Now, years later, now we got Purell every damn where, and the government forcing you to wash your damn hands. Well, I know why the government is doing it. They have doctors with microscopes, right? And pathologists. What's the one for the study of diseases?
Pathologist?
Not that one. Epidemiologists. They have doctors who study epidemics, right? But why did Moses tell you to wash? Right. With none of those things, God's knowledge. Come on.
Also, there was a law in the Bible where if you had a certain uncleanness, you had to cover your upper lip and say you're unclean. That's the math.
Yes. Give him a hand. How did I forget that? Yes, that's in the Bible. That's the proof that the Bible is inspired by God. Now, remember that when you want to have sex with a whore. Remember that when you want to smoke weed. Remember that when you want to eat pork and shrimp and marry a white woman. Remember that book that you can ignore when your pleasure dictates it also knew about creation without any technology at all to verify it. Remember that. Keep going.
Concert. Verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day.
That firmament is heaven. When you walk outside and you look up into the sky and you say that's the heaven or soaring through the heavens, you're looking at the ozone layer or the firmament. Firmament because it's hard, which is why there's so much power and force required to break it for our oppressor to go into space. So many gallons of liquid fuel to break the ozone layer. That's why you can die. That's why they're very close to dying when they try to come back into the earth. They could die if they don't hit it at the right angle and at the right spot. That's why so many asteroids, or I think they would be called comets, hit the earth and break up into tiny molecules, tiny little pieces, being no harm at all to anyone on the planet, because there is a hard, firm thing all around this earth. And there it is in the Bible before anyone could verify it or know of its existence at all. Keep going.
Concern. Verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place.
So now the waters under the heaven, meaning not up there in the sky, but down here, under the heaven, let them be gathered together in one place. Keep going.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And let the dry land appear, and it was so.
And now what do you have here? You got the beginning of the land and the sea. The land and the sea. It's happening right now, right? You're over here on the land, on the shore, and the sea is over there. And what is that scripture out where it says the Most High giveth the borders of the land and the sea, that the sea touch not the land? That's in the Bible somewhere. I forget where it is. But many times I've went to the beach, and I wonder, why in the hell does that beach stay right there and I stay right here? Why isn't it just, since everything is done, by accident and there is no God, then why doesn't that beach, that water come right here, right now? Why is it that you can time the high tide? You can set your clock to it. Well, every day at 5:30, the tide will raise to this height. And every day at 6 a.m., it will be low again. The Most High puts it on a schedule and he divides it from one another so that the sea stays right there and the land can stay dry. Here it is in the Bible. Keep going.
Yes, sir. And let the dry land appear, and it was so.
There you go. Keep going.
Verse 10. And God called the dry land earth.
So now, scientifically, you know that earth comes from the water, meaning under the water, right? At the bottom of the water, volcanoes explode from the earth core, and they spit lava up, and then when it floats to the top, it cools because of the temperature of the water, and it becomes land, which is where land comes from. You can watch a damn video on it if you want. If we got a minute, you can watch a video on how volcanoes from under the ocean make land. See if you can find one for everybody, all right?
Yes, sir.
And see if you can see the hot lava coming out the damn bottom of the ocean. Mayak, give him a hand for what? Go ahead. Please.
Start the 6th verse, 104:6. Thou coverest it with the deep as with the garment. The waters stood above the mountains. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over.
What is the Most High? If I could give you some background, what is the Most High speaking about? He's speaking about the flood. Where at his will, he'll flood, make the water go above the mountain. Then when he wants to, he'll make that water recede, go back down, and stick it in the same place every day. And it will stay right there where he wants it to stay. Otherwise, how is it possible? Where is the chaos in nature if there is no God that is ordaining everything? Nature has no chaos. Everything is on a season, on a time. Drought is a season of drought. Every year, this will be the drought season. Every year, this will be the rainy season. Every year, the animals themselves will know this is the time to have babies. Have them in the spring. This is the time. Every year, animals will know when to sleep, and this is the time of winter, and we should slow down. Where there is no chaos in nature because God has it in order. He has everything around you in order. There is one thing out of order in this planet, and that is the nation of Israel. We are children out of order from our Father. And once we get in order, my God, we'll fix everything else. We'll fix any derelicts or rebels that might want to come up against God's absolutely perfect order. I pray you understand that. Keep going.
Do you want me to stop and go to the video?
If you have it, please.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Benjamin. Please, Daniel.
Proverbs 8:29.
Mm-hmm.
When he gave the sea his decree, that the water shall not pass his commandment. When he appointed the foundations of the earth.
Give him a hand, because that's the damn truth. And that's in the Bible. Levi.
Basically, repeat what you just said.
Most High in Christ. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 5:22.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah 5:22. Hear ye not me, saith the Most High. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sin for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that he cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. Verse 23. But this people have a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone.
Give him a hand. Absolutely. Yes, that's exactly what I just said just now, of course. And that's the precept Commander General Yohana used to teach it to me. Right there. That's the one I was looking for, the water. Go ahead. Next. I think I need to drop this off for questions. Everybody gets that, right? I'm sorry. Video, please.
Yes, sir. Okay, here we go, sir. That's it, spewing all that.
Spewing everything, dripping down. Can we go down to when it forms land? If you have it, you might have to fast forward to find one specifically saying the creation of islands. That might put you on to it if this is not it. How islands are created.
Well, here, sir, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
the lava is
That might be
becoming actual land now.
I think that's it. I think that's what it means right there.
So once the lava stops flowing, it starts to cool down and it hardens into this.
That's it right there. That's where islands come from. That's where the continents come from. Explosions out of the water. Just like it said. Out of the water, boom. First, the Most High activates or creates that Earth's core with that explosion, and it's hot. It's hot, then he circles it, protects it, and then boom, he makes land. Makes land with explosions just like this in the middle of the ocean. He's doing it right now. The volcanoes in the Pacific right now. All right. Little tiny islands popping up every damn place. All right. Which is another reason that it's ridiculous that our oppressor believes that there is not enough space on this planet to share. Not only is there enough space, but God is making more space.
Right.
There's even more space happening all the time. New islands all the time. There is more than enough for us to share. There's no reason for any nation on this planet Earth to be poor or to suffer. The Africans shouldn't have to be poor. The Japanese and the Chinese shouldn't have to be poor. The Polynesians shouldn't have to be poor. The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, the chosen people of God, should not have to be poor. The only reason that anyone is poor is because the person who governs all of the land is greedy and selfish. And the minute he is gone, there'll be enough for everybody. And the nations will praise you as the children of God because you will be a better caretaker than the oppressor that was over them before. Everybody understands, right? Let me go to the next topic. Questions. There's a few precepts from some questions that I do not want to forget tonight, all right? Somebody asked me a question about Judas again. I don't know why every few years someone wants to make Judas a tortured hero for God knows what reason. I've never understood it. But every few years I get but is Judas misunderstood? And I wonder, what is why? Like, you don't want anybody to just be a villain, do you? Some niggas is villains. Salakia. They just evil. I mean, what do you want me to explain it? I don't know. Talk to his mama. Some cats is just wicked as hell. Now, you can spend all of your time trying to, maybe he's misunderstood. Maybe he did what he did for God's purposes. That's the question. The question is always, was it God's purpose that Judas betrayed Christ? What was the reason? Was it the will of God? Because without Judas, Christ would not have died, if you don't mind, warrior. Christ would have not been killed. Let me give you this precept one last time, all right? And then once it love Judas, man, it ain't gonna hurt me. Okay? If you want to love him, save him. I mean, maybe you can save him. All right, here we go again. I need to break down Proverbs 8:29 for one of them captains, all right? Okay, let me give you this precept first. Remind me about 8:29, okay? Right, in Houston. And Houston is where that big pool is that Abun was talking about. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, what the fuck was that? Okay, here we go now. The Judas thing, right? That's what I was just talking about? Judas, I want to go to John 12:6, all right? Now, many people might know about this. Maybe many people don't, right? Judas was in charge of the bag of money. So the disciples, just like we do today, they would collect money, right? People would give them money. They would take this bag of money and they would use it to do the work of the Lord. They would, if they didn't have a cloak or they would buy it, they bought swords at one time when Christ told them to go out and buy swords. They would do this with this bag of money that they had for that purpose, right? To pay for the needs that they had doing the work of the Lord. Judas was in charge of that bag. He was the treasurer of the school at that time. The school being 12 men and the 5,000 men later on that joined them. Then those 5,000 men left the truth, and then Judas left the truth as well, all right? So now Judas, when he was in the school, he was the treasurer. Are you with me? So now there was a time when Christ was about to be killed and make the ultimate sacrifice for his Lord, right? And a woman, he came into a house as they would do often, and he would get relief in this house, get food, get shelter, have his feet washed. He came into this house, and this sister who also came into the house because he was there, she saw the pain and the agony he was in because of the weight of authority that was on his shoulders, a tremendous weight of knowing he had such a short amount of time to teach his men enough so that they could be safe and protected and continue his work after he was gone, and with the foreknowledge of knowing how he would go, which is to be crucified, to be hung, nailed to a cross by your feet and your hands until you collapse your lungs enough and it's too hard for you to breathe, and you eventually just suffocate because you can't pick your body up enough to breathe. If the Romans were merciful, they would give you poison to drink, right? In mercy. Christ refused the poison. And then finally, they stabbed him in the side to end it. All right. So this is on his spirit as he's in this house, knowing what's about to happen, knowing he's going to leave his brothers. To him, they're like babies that need his direction, and he's about to be tortured to death. The sister sees it, and she comes over to him in an act of compassion And she takes oil from this expensive box and she begins to comfort him by washing the sand and the dirt from traveling and walking in the Middle East in sandals because you can't afford shoes. And she washes his feet and then takes those feet and greases them down good with oil. Now, many people don't do this today. Some people do it like you go to those shops and they rub your feet down and slather you all up, right, to make you feel all good. The way most brothers in the UPK understand it is from a woman massaging your head with oil. I know y'all know what the hell that's about. Oh, that's a good thing. You get my point. It's comforting. It's like there's somebody that cares about me. So what, sis? God damn it. It's a comforting thing. Well, she came to Christ, man, and comforted him and cleaned his feet. And it's like, imagine just being able to relax for a second and not think about the crucifixion that's coming. Do you understand? Now read. All right. So we'll start at John 12:5.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
John chapter 12, verse 5. Why was not this ointment?
I'm sorry, one verse up.
Yes,
please.
sir. John chapter 12, verse 4. Then saith one of his disciples.
One more verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus.
This was expensive oil. You know about her. This is Mary, and historically is now known as Mary Magdalene, right? This is when she came into the truth. And this act is remembered throughout history because she showed the greatest man in history compassion at his lowest time. Come on, please. No. Hell no. It's a lot. My apologies. All right. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. And anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled.
How'd I forget that part? She rubbed it in and wiped his feet off with her hair. Keep going.
And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment.
I mean, this spikenard, Tazariak, break it down for me. What's that spikenard? Give him the microphone. You don't know. he's an oil baron. Did you know that? He's an oil baron. Go ahead. I don't know what the hell they use it for. Go ahead. Uh-huh. That's an expensive, high quality. Phew. I mean, like maybe a pound is maybe like $50 or $60. Yikes. Hardcore. That's some expensive oil, brother. Spikenard, and they use it on dead bodies. It's powerful because that body stinks. So if you use it on a dead body, that's some powerful oil. Well, she took that oil and used it on this brother's feet who was suffering, who was in pain, his spirit was low. And she used it on him. And the smell went through the whole damn house. Tazariak. $3,000 a pound. Judas was about to have a fit. Judas could not believe it. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 4. Then said one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot.
Who?
Judas
Iscariot.
Yeah,
that's not Iscariot either. Someone else asked that. That's not that.
That was a mispronounced.
Iscariot. That's not history. That's his story. Don't do that. I know that was a error. He was not trying to say that. But just to make sure, don't take words and just switch them up, because they sound alike. You're going to sound like an idiot who is a prison doctor, okay, a prison philosopher. Because a word sounds like a word that you're familiar with, it doesn't mean it comes from that word. All right, it's okay.
Can you say it one more time, sir?
Iscariot.
Mm-hmm. Then said one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him.
So this is the same Judas that we all know about, the son of Simon, which should what?
Betray him.
Which should work for him.
Betray him.
Which should do God's will.
Betray him.
Which should be a misunderstood anti-hero in the Bible who really was trying to fulfill the will of God,
betray him.
he was a traitor. He betrayed Christ. There it is. It's right there. It's okay. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 5. Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence?
So as he smells, remember the smell went all through the house. As he smells the oil, he says, "What? Wait, that's spikenard. That's $3,000 a pound." Like, what? Who the hell did this? Why wasn't this oil sold? For what reason?
And given to the poor.
We could have sold that oil and given it to the poor, because that's really what I care about. The poor. Give it to the poor orphans, to the suffering people. Why didn't we save that oil, not give it to that suffering man? But we could have sold it and given it to the orphans in the orphanage and to the poor people. Hold your point. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse
Please,
6.
Akim, if you want to see, I'm a grown man, as you know, right? If you want to become a grown man one day and stop being a child, you'll understand this next verse right here. All right? And then you'll take this with you all throughout life. Keep going.
Yes, sir. John 12, verse 6. This he said, not that he cared for the poor.
Let me help you. Headline, brothers. He didn't say this because he gave a damn about poor people. And that is what you Christians and fake Israelites suffer from. You believe everything you hear. That's it. Hearing it is true to you because you heard it. So hearing it is like, oh, well, you know, I saw this videotape when this cat said this. So it's true. I went on YouTube today. This guy said this. So let's start teaching it. It's the truth. Someone said it on the internet. I looked up the vaccines turn you into a cat, make you bark like a dog, stop your penis from working. That's another one. Stop you from your penis from working. That's what he said. Joe Rogan said it.
Right.
It must be the truth.
Right. Joe Rogan said one of the cures is like vitamin D.
Oh, Joe Rogan says he cures that with a stiff glass of milk and horse urine. I'm not making that up. And when people say things, you're a kid.
Right.
And you believe that everyone is really just trying to drop some knowledge on you, aren't they? Everyone is just really trying to give you the hidden secrets of all mankind. And because of that, you're easily manipulated by everyone. Judas didn't give a F about the poor or helping anybody in need, because if Judas cared about anyone suffering, he would have known that that was the perfect place to waste that oil on him, because he was suffering. He was in need. And more importantly, that was his king. And he especially sort of wasted it on him. That's where you should spend all of your compassion. All this love you have, that you can't stand the fact that we talk about white people, or that we divide ourselves from fake Israelites, or that we divide ourselves from the other nations. Why? Because you just love all people. And you don't believe in hate. Oh my, you don't join with white people. You don't join with the fake Israelite groups. See, that group is, you don't have any love in you. You don't care about fake Israelite groups. You don't care about white people. You're a selfish pig, and everything you do for gain. Please continue.
Yes, sir.
From the top.
Verse 6. This he said, not that he
Can
cared.
everyone hear you, or do you need a mic?
I have a mic, sir.
You have a mic.
Yes,
Salaki, go ahead.
John chapter 12, verse 6. Then he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and bare what was put therein.
Let me explain to you the very simple reason. Also, you might want to go research another thing, Occam's razor. You know about that? Occam's razor? Occam's razor is a mathematical theory that says without all of the information that you think you might need to prove something in science, whatever is the simple answer is the answer. Because sometimes you don't have all forms of proof. So if it's simple enough, it's simple enough, right? Then that's what's true, right? If your wife ends up pregnant while you're in jail, okay, don't say it was the Baltham gland. Did I get that right? The Botham gene or Bothaman gland. Because you're searching, she's pregnant. I'm in prison. How could this happen? I saw a video that talked about the Bothaman gland. Okay, now, could it have been the Bothaman gland? Could this guy be telling the truth? I was in prison. I don't know that she committed adultery. I wasn't there. But I don't have any proof. She said she didn't. Occam's razor says, whatever the simplest answer is, just go ahead and go with that up. You say, let's move on to something else. She's a whore. All right, let's just move on. So why was Judas so worried about wasting that oil? Because Judas doesn't want the money in that bag to get spent, because Judas is stealing the money of the disciples of Christ. That's what he was doing. Judas was the treasurer over the school, and Judas was embezzling the money.
Sounds familiar.
Shalom. He was stealing it.
Right.
So as he smells all of that oil, he goes, if that woman would have donated that oil to the school, we could have sold it and given it to the poor Israelites in need. Judas was going to sell the oil, put it in the bag, buy some turkeys on Christmas for the poor people of Harlem, hand them out, and steal the rest, which is what your Christians are doing. They're taking care of the poor, sure. And that's what your money is going to in church. Turkeys on Christmas. And that money that they put in that red cup or whatever that red big ball is. What's that red thing? Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, the Salvation Army.
The Salvation Army. It's just for the poor. Until the obvious news story comes out that the head of the Salvation Army stole $10 million from the goddamn fund. Until some church in Houston has $600,000 in the goddamn walls of the church. But you know what the donations and tithes are for? The work of God to take care of the poor and the sick of Houston. Grow up. Okay, this will help you in your life so that you don't go on your phone and believe every lie that you are told about vaccinations, women, going to the doctor, needles, so you're not so stupid all the time. That's going to help us all. All right? Judas is a stinking piece of garbage. He's a thief. He was stealing from Christ, stealing from Peter, stealing from Andrew, stealing from Mark, stealing from them. They're going to a field eating corn that they pick, and he is stealing the money from their bag, the one little sack that they have to hold money in to eat and find lodging. He's stealing from it. And that's why the Sadducee and Pharisee knew just who to go to find a traitor, a rat. Does everyone understand? All right, here it is in the Bible. Now, if you want to love him, that's up to you. Or, I told this to Katazar earlier, whenever you battle someone, right, it's important to get the point of what they're trying to say. Not so much to counter what they're saying, but to get to the reason they're saying it. Do you understand? If you are someone that wants to find the good in Judas, it's probably because you see a lot of Judas in you, right? You see a lot of him in you. And so you want to save him to save yourself. Do you understand? What I would recommend is that you be nothing like Judas. Nothing, right? I'm done. All right, let's go ahead. Katazar. Salakia, go ahead.
That's exactly why, figures like defend John the Baptist. But they don't want to follow Christ.
Give him a hand. How did I forget? Fake Israelites and the John the Baptist. And now they'll have you spinning in but the water this and John and John and John and John and John and the disciples of John. Why are we even debating this? This is why. Because they see a lot of themselves in someone that knows Christ, sees the power of Christ, but doesn't quite want to join Christ. Right. They see that in themselves. So John the Baptist becomes their hero. And that's why they defend John the Baptist. The water captain, General. Oh, they say like even though he wasn't with Christ, he was still a man of God. Because remember, the disciples of Christ saw John's disciples, or saw them that were talking about Christ. And come on,
I think that John sent his disciples.
There you go.
Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And what the fake Israelites believe is John was still in the truth,
even though
he wasn't following Christ, even
Boom.
though he said they're coming one after
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can't even tie.
Mm-hmm.
They still say he in the truth.
They
So
say
he questioned Christ.
they say he was in the truth, though he was not one of. There wasn't 13 disciples, right? There were 12 disciples. John was not one of the 12 disciples. So fake Israelites try to say, even though he was not one of the 12, he was still in the truth, though he was not one of the disciples. You get the point. Come on, Benjamin.
And also, a lot of them don't know the Bible at all. So they think John the Baptist is the same John the Revelator. But it's John. Yeah, it's John the Baptist.
Hardcore. Jeremiah.
And how should I say, the least in the kingdom is going to be greater than John. Showing you how low his faith was.
I mean, listen, if you love him, you love him, man. Hey, your heart wants what your heart wants, right? You love John and Judas. Nobody's trying to stop you, all right? But this house shall serve the Lord. All right, where are we at now? Come on, count this out. Please.
I vaguely remember this. I need like a little refresher.
Go ahead.
It's a couple of verses in Jeremiah 31.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is when it says a woman shall encompass a man.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is 3 verses later on in the chapter. That's
Does it say encompass or compass?
compass.
Right. Compass is like compasses. A compass that you held in your hand, it points to true north. It goes up, right? And so compass a man means she excels past him. That if that was your question.
Okay.
So you want, please tell me, read what you want me to break down for you.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
So manifold, this is speaking about the destruction of the nation of Israel and the part that our women have to play in it. So our nation is so destroyed that the men have now given up all lordship and rulership for lust. And now the women have exceeded men. They've exceeded men because men are just lustful pigs. So in the power vacuum, women will step in and take power and, of course, backslide. Of course, a woman who fights to be in charge, once she gets in charge, will say, I'm tired of wearing the pants. I'm sick of being in charge. I can't stand it. That same woman who a month ago was yelling at you and demanding that things be done a certain way. If you give her her way, she will look at you as you're laying sleep in the bed and go, I'm tired of wearing the pants. I'm tired of having to make all the decisions. I'm tired of everything being on me. Bitch, you wanted it on you. Now you have it. Oh, maybe I made a mistake by ever giving you the authority. Maybe this was all a mistake. Maybe I should have stepped up. Maybe I should have never given up my authority to be hated by the one I gave it to. Do you understand? Keep going.
Then the other verses is 27 to 30.
Go ahead and read.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast.
Oh, keep going. I'll break it down for you.
And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict,
Mm-hmm.
so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Most High.
Keep going. Keep going.
In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour drink, and the children's teeth are set on edge. And then there's one more verse after.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
Wait, it's one part I'm missing to my memory, all right? Where are we at?
Verse 30. Jeremiah chapter 31, and the next verse is 30.
1 second. Let me catch up with you real fast. There's some part of. Okay, hold on. Jeremiah, what again?
Chapter 31, and we started at 27. And I was about to read 30.
Okay, let me see it visually real fast. 31. 31 and what?
31 and starting at 27.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. 1 second. Okay, is there? I'm sorry. Keep reading until we get to the part you want me to break down.
I just wanted to make sure I knew what I was reading 27, and then I just wanted to clarify on verse 30.
Read 30.
But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on end.
I got you. Okay, go back to 20. You might need to go up a little bit to break this down. You might need 24. 1 second, hold on. Ooh. 20, read 25. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 25.
So let me give you in a nutshell what this is speaking about. This is speaking about a prophecy of what will happen when the Most High forgives us. There's another good precept too. I want you to pull with this. Psalms 30 and 5. All right. Psalms 30 and 5 is excellent. It's all meaning the same thing. It's the same point. Okay. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 25. For I have satisfied the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul.
You understand? This is speaking about the time of forgiveness that the Most High has always prophesied in the Old Testament. Many people hate reading the Old Testament because they think it's all about death and killing and stoning and everything being horrible. That is the Most High's way to make you never do the thing that's going to make him hurt you, right? The Most High sent his prophets out with terrible threatenings from God. But these threatenings were not meant to ever happen. These threatenings were supposed to scare you enough to never get the beating. It's like any father that says, I'm going to whoop your behind if you do this, if you do that. The point is not his pleasure in beating you. The point is that he doesn't want to beat you. And the prophets of God went out to warn Israel. And then he's also telling them, when this beating is over, if you repent, then there will be no more beatings. I will take care of you and comfort you and satisfy you. No more hunger, no more thirst, no more pestilence, no more oppression if you obey me. It's the other side of the Most High. Like everything, he has a side like every father that will totally and completely destroy you. And another side that welcomes you home and comforts you and gives you everything that you want and need. And this is the description of that part right here. All right, go ahead.
Verse 26. Upon this I awakened and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me.
So then this is Jeremiah who dreamed about this. And when he woke up, it was a good nap, brother. It was a good sleep because he had a beautiful dream about God forgiving Israel. Keep going.
Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast.
So now what does that mean? Kataza.
So there's a day that's coming that Israel is going to be mixed among the...
No! I gave you all that in the beginning so that you would not say that. Now just think about everything I just said and think about what you read earlier. Just think about every word that I just said. As you know, some of you who know me very well, if I say it, it's on purpose. Everything I said about women, that was on purpose. Everything I said about men was on purpose. Do you understand? For you to get this answer right. Yes.
Okay, so is this,
You have the microphone. Slakia, give him the mic. Try to do it, so people online can know what the hell we're talking about. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so then is this that you reap what you sow? So this is judgment coming to Israel.
Read the line above it. Right above it. Where should we start at?
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel.
Above it.
Upon this I awakened.
Above it.
For I have satisfied the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul.
So you got to hear that. So you know that other verse is not going to be negative or about hurting us. The verse you're about to read has to be positive because of what you just read just now. Because the verse you're reading is going to be what? About satisfying the weary soul. Give him another shot. Go ahead. 1 second, Levi. Give him another shot. They see. Try to give a little air in here if you don't mind. Okay. Please, you can't even get that thing. Grab the ladder there. That's all y'all, get up here and pull that damn thing up. He said he ain't that tall. He a giant. Pull the roof. Touch the roof. Oh. Okay, do your thing now. Just please don't make anything drop on my head. If you don't mind. If it's all right, if it's God's will. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Katazar. You have more you want to read?
No,
you want to give it a shot?
No, I don't.
Oh, no problem. It's all right. Levi, you had something?
Salakia, sir. May I read it out of one?
Please.
Go on, sir. For I have satiated the weary soul and have replenished every sorrowful soul.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27 is the question, right? Out of one.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. Mm-hmm. If I may, sir, that's the Most High saying that black and it, so like black people and so-called blacks and Hispanics will be joined together over the seed of the other nations.
Over? It said with, though, didn't it, right?
With. Come on, sir.
So is it over?
Side by side?
So would that satisfy the weary soul? To be side by side with the heathens and with animals?
La, sir.
And so it can't be that, right? Captain?
Is it saying when it says I will sow the house of Israel, the house of Judah with the seed of man, it's more so speaking of as we're in these captivities, we'll bring to remembrance, like 2 Chronicles, I think it's like 7, if they should think be times to repent as we're among the men.
Okay, I gotta break that from the top now. I'll give a bun these two and no more. Come on.
Okay. So, like, sir, meaning as the heathen, with the men and beasts, as the heathen are planted, as they are born and grow and flourish in the society, in a time coming soon, Israelites will be born, will grow and flourish, just like the man, like everyone else, Japanese.
There's
Arabs.
one part everybody's stumbling on, right? This men or man is not talking about the other nations. That's what you need. This is not that, right? It's the solution to the one you read first, Katazai. What was the first one you read? I've made a new thing in the earth.
A woman shall compass a man.
And why did I say just now that a woman has come past the man?
Because our nation was destroyed.
And so what don't we have?
A nation, a whole nation, something to rule over.
We got plenty of women.
We don't have lordship.
Women are ready to be lords over us. They come past a man.
We don't have men willing to be lords.
So what do we need? If we don't have men, what do we need?
We need to raise up men.
We need to plant men. Why? Because a woman has come past a man. So what does this nation need?
We need strong men to be raised up.
And the Lord is going to
Sow it in the house of Israel.
He's going to plant them. He's going to grow men. He's going to grow men. And he's going to grow beasts, which gives these men
Power.
thank you, cows and cattle and camels and chickens and donkeys and horses, because that's what the other nations have. And those things give them power, and sheep, right? Cattle, money. You need men and wealth, and he's going to give it to you. You're going to have the men that you need. You're black and Hispanic. What is the problem in life? No men. Have you been to jail? That's where all of them are. To where the times I've been, I thought about today. I thought about trying to find a way to teach brothers how to fight lust and passion. And I thought back to the time myself and General Mayak and General Yohana were in jail. Now we're in jail. They put General Mayak in another cell. They put me and General Yohana in the same cell. So we're in the cell, right? And we're in there all night. My brain went right back to world, and I just found my spot on the floor and went to sleep like the old days. I found a spot over in the corner, took the lunch, laid on it, and it was like, well, here we go again. Shalom. And I went to sleep. As soon as I got in there, like I was in my bed. That's how terrible I was. It was completely comfortable. And I remember thinking, this is completely comfortable to me. I'm going to sleep. And I went to sleep. So General Yohana is right. I'm laying on the floor. He's right above me. He was not asleep all night, watching all night, like a wolf. Right? I went to sleep. He's in the middle of the night. He kicks me because I'm on the floor. He kicks me, and I go look up at him, and he goes. And there is a white boy laying on the ground. Who was that? I mean, a scallywag white boy, like a drug addict. One of those. This was in Baltimore. Like, imagine just a crackhead, like, the crackiest of crack. He gets the thickest crack in Baltimore. They come to him when they want to test the good crack to see if the crack is really strong. And he's laying on the floor all curled up. And there's a man above him. Some bald-headed man, like hair on the sides, like George Jefferson. And all night he was talking, yelling and singing and talking. So then when I went to sleep, he's standing up over the white boy masturbating on the white boy. General Yohana for sure caught it. He's looking at it and kicked me. Like, fuck this guy, he kicked me, right? And I looked up at it, and the cat, what happened? I don't know what happened, but somehow everybody just started yelling, like, what the hell are you doing, man? Stop all this shit. Stop all this mess, right? So he said, hey, leave me alone. And he got off him, and he went and sat down. And this is the part that stuck in my brain. He said, I'm passionate. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I'm passionate. I'm sensual. I got passions. And that stuck in my brain like, that's what he thinks this is. He thinks the rest of us just ain't romantic. You know what I mean? Like y'all cats, y'all all stuck up. You stuck up. You ain't passionate. He's a passionate man. This is love. He ain't doing this because he's the most worst pervert I've ever seen. It's really, I just am not romantic enough. And he's literally said, I don't know what the F is wrong with y'all. I'm passionate. Y'all can mind your damn business. I'm passionate. Hell, I'm sensual. And me and Juliana sit, and it was an education out. And I remembered it because I wonder if, people that are sexual deviants, if it's like to them, your problem is y'all just don't know about love. Y'all got hang-ups and y'all, what's the word they use for people that y'all ain't freaky enough. You ain't, you're a prude. Yeah, you a prude and you just don't really know about passion. Passion and love. And it was so goddamn sick and disgusting. Now, you know who was in there, brother? All the brothers in Baltimore. That's where they are. If you walk down the street and you see women everywhere, and it feels like you're in an abundance of women because you're the only man at some place or some college or some job. This is the reason that there are so many women for you to pick from, because all of the men are in prison. They're all in there. All of your cousins and friends and people you went to high school with, they're in there. So now, as you're out here in this business, where your sole job primarily is to find men, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to find men. Not anymore. Because God is going to grow them like flowers. He's going to plant them. And what are those men going to need? Horses, camels, cows, sheep, lambs, goats. He's going to grow them too. All of the things that those men need to produce wealth, God is going to plant them. And that will do what? Satisfy your soul. Ease your soul. He woke up from the dream. It was like, that's what we need. Men.
Right.
Now, the reason that most of you think that he's talking about the other nations is because of the other scriptures that are talking about the other nations. But what is important in the Bible? Context. So you need that scripture about satisfies my soul. I have found a new thing in the earth. Women shall compass men. Why? Because there are no men.
Right.
We need men. If we had more men, women wouldn't compass men. Women wouldn't have to work 3 jobs because their husband is dead or in jail. You get my point? What we need is more healthy, strong, powerful men with wealth and resources and farms and everything that women need. So now this woman will be put in her place. You understand? Maya.
I was just gonna say, the cell I was in was crowded as hell too. It's been every cell was crowded. You know, it was so crowded. I'm laying with one brother. He's trying to. We all on the floor, laying on the cheese sound.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of backed up into me like in the grind with it. So I just touched his back like, I'm here. He said, "Damn, big man." You know what I'm saying?
Like you broke his ribs. It was an interesting night. All right. So you get the point. That's talking about that. All you need is to read above it a couple of verses. All right. Read above that 27:2 verses, please.
Verse 25. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul.
Man, listen, he's fixing your problems. Satiated means to satisfy. You're weary. He's giving you the thing you need to satisfy your soul. Keep going.
Upon this I awakened, and behold, and my sleep was sweet unto me.
This was a good dream. He loved it. Keep going.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast.
Oh, you're about to have so many strong sons, and your flocks and your cattle are about to overflow. Keep going.
And it shall come to pass that, like as I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down.
The same way I watched you to tear you down, to pick you and throw you away and cut you down. Go ahead.
And to throw down and to destroy and to afflict.
Go ahead.
So will I watch over them, to build and to plant, saith the Most High.
To build into.
To build and to plant.
And to.
Plant.
And to.
Plant.
The planting is talking about you. Right? He's going to plant you. He was tearing you down. He was the reason you have no sons. He was the reason you're having so many abortions. He was the reason your sons are in jail. Well, he's going to do the same with the same vigilant eye. Your sons are going to grow. They won't end up on someone's t-shirt. They won't die at 12 or 15 or 20. All your brothers you knew in the world that got killed in that house. How many of them? What age was that? Yeah, 17. Like 5 of them all shot dead in the house. Right? That was commonplace. Do you understand? 13, 11 for me when my first one died at 11 years old. No more. No more. Now your sons grow.
Right.
Now they grow into rich, wealthy farmers, landowners. Now they grow. With the same eye he took to destroy them, now he will plant them. You understand? The water. Please, go ahead. Please.
In those days, they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children...
One thing I forgot. Whoever doesn't know, sowing is planting. That's why I said plant just now. It caught us out. The term sow means to plant. All right. He will sow men and beasts. He will plant, meaning he's going to grow our children. All right. And grow our flocks, our farms. Keep going.
Verse 29, in those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape.
When this happens, no more will we say our fathers have eaten sour grapes. Now just think of the metaphor, right? A sour grape. You put a grape, you put a grape in your mouth. It's sour. It's not sweet. So it hurts your mouth. It's, unpleasant, right? Keep going.
And the children's teeth
Just a
are
short.
set on edge.
And the children's teeth are set on edge. What's the metaphor, Kakaza? Let me get it. Okay, just think of sour. Sour is not sweet. Sweet is good, sour is bad. So your father eats a piece of fruit that is sour, and the son is the one whose teeth are set on edge. The son is the one that suffers because of what the father has done. He ate the bad grape. I'm tasting the bad flavor. Do you understand? I suffer for what my father did. Come on.
So like, for example, we're all in captivity for what our fathers did.
That's the point.
Right.
In these days, that's going to stop happening. No more of that. No more suffering for what your father did. He did the act. I take the pain, which is what is happening right now. Right now, you were born into that city, that neighborhood, that house. You didn't choose to be there. Your father did a thing years and years ago, sometimes back in Israel, or back in West Africa, or back in Puerto Rico, or back in, where you from again? Ecuador. And now here you are in poverty, a family on drugs and on welfare and suffering, right? No more. From now on, go ahead.
But everyone shall die for his own iniquity.
When everything is good and we're all prospering and rich with farms, if you do something, you're paying, not your son. Thank you. Give him a hand. Not your sons. They're going to grow. You're going to die if you do something evil. You get my point? Why? Because then there's no generational curses, right? Which is what we're in right now. Come on.
So then this last thing, so I can use
Please.
This, I can use this to cut so-called Old Testament Israelites who try to act like Yahushua couldn't redeem us.
Oh, yeah, why not? Exactly. And there's a few more for that on the tip of my tongue. So many scriptures in the Old Testament. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
When one man has saved the nation many times. One man's sacrifice has saved us. My God. Say again?
Like Phineas.
You can just keep going. Like one man's sacrifice can't save our nation. One man risking his life, one man dying doesn't save us all the time. I think they make holidays to them in America. Right? I think there's holidays to heroes, martyrs. I think there's a thing called Memorial Day for men who fought for our freedom, who gave their lives so we could be free. Christ can't do that for us. They're celebrated in America. They know that who is the greatest generation? The men who gave their lives on the shores of Normandy. They gave their lives. They sacrificed their lives so we could be free. Christ can't do it for blacks and Hispanics. He gave his life for us to be free. All right, come on. I gotta go. I appreciate that, warrior. Go ahead. Up front. Let me get one online, Silaki.
Yes,
I
sir.
apologize, officer. I'm going to get you. Let me just try to get one online because I haven't done it in a second. Go ahead,
I have this
tight with
question-
the time. Go ahead.
Yes, I have this question right here from Kazak Damar.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, Adawan. Can I get a breakdown on Isaiah chapter 7, verses 11 through 20,
Mm-hmm.
specifically how to break this down as it pertains to Christ?
Go ahead.
Concert. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 12. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. Verse 13. And he said, hear ye now, O house of David, it is a small thing for you to weary men, but will ye weary my God also?
I need to break this down. Okay, what verse are we in now?
Right now we're on going to 14.
All right, and his question was
How
all
it
the way
pertains,
down.
how from 11 to 20, how it pertains to Christ.
All right, keep going.
Verse 14. Therefore, the Lord Himself shall give you a sign.
All right, let's start where you started from. All right, this is Isaiah 53.
Isaiah chapter 7.
7. Right. Go ahead.
Sir. When we can go back to where we
Go
first
back
started?
now.
Yes, sir. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 11. Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above.
So he's asking, meaning ask a sign from the Most High in the depth, meaning deep down in the sea, or way up in the sky. Ask for any sign. Go ahead.
Sir.
Keep going.
Verse 12. But Ahaz said, I will not ask.
But Ahaz said, no, I won't ask for a sign from God. Go ahead.
Neither will I tempt the Lord.
Nor will I make the Lord angry, which is what tempt the Lord means. Keep going.
13. And he said, hear ye now, O house of David. Is it a small thing for you to weary
Is
men?
it or it is?
Is it?
Is it? Go ahead.
Is it a small thing for you to weary men?
Meaning, is it small? Is it nothing for you to make men sick of you? Which is what weary means. Weary means tired. So he's asking, is it nothing for you to just wear every person out? Which is what you're doing in the tribe of Judah. You're making everyone sick of you. They're tired of your greed, tired of your selfishness. Is it nothing for you to just hurt everyone and make everyone sick of your behavior? Keep going.
Yes, sir. But will ye weary my God also?
Are you going to weary God? Is it nothing for the fact that you're making men sick of your selfishness? Sick of how you don't care about helping the people. Now, are you going to make God sick of you? Keep going.
Verse 14. Therefore, the Lord Himself shall give you a sign.
So then God is going to give you a sign. No problem. Here's your sign. Go ahead.
Behold, a virgin shall conceive.
A what?
A virgin shall conceive.
A what?
A virgin shall conceive.
A virgin shall conceive. What's a virgin when you look it up in the Bible dictionary? A young, unmarried woman of marriageable age. That's your sign. A young woman who was not given away in marriage. There was no marriage document with her father. There was no dowry. This marriage was an unmarried woman having a baby. That's your sign, and I'll explain. Keep going.
And bear a son.
And she's going to have a child. Go ahead. Now, to understand this, you've got to understand what I just said just now about wearying men and God. That's the part you need to get this. Or else you'll become Catholic and think that somehow this miracle birth of a woman who never had sex having a baby is what is the sign when it is not the sign. The sign is based on you wearying God. You're making God angry and sick of your behavior. Keep going.
Yes, sir. And shall call his name Emmanuel.
Which means God with us. Meaning this young unmarried girl is going to have this baby. And this baby is going to be sent by God. Everyone is going to know that God wanted this child. This child is beloved. This child is here because God wanted him, and he does God's will. This precept is about Christ. Keep going.
Concert. Verse 15. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil.
Now here we go. Here we go, Akim. Let's go. Come on with it now. He's going to eat butter and honey, so you will know to refuse the evil. Who is the you? Who is the you? The you, of course, is manifold now. But who is he talking to, this prophet of God? Who doesn't know how to refuse evil? You got to be with me in class today to understand what I mean, or else I got to move the hell on. Who is the you, Asher?
Those who don't know how to refuse evil are sinners.
Who doesn't know how to refuse evil? Officer.
The children.
Katasa. Bring me home. No. Judah.
Oh, constant.
We just read it earlier.
Yes, sir.
Judah. Judah at this time was a fallen house, bereft of lordship and dignity and honor because they were lustful pigs. That's what they were. And so now I'm going to make an unmarried woman have a child. And that child is going to be of God. And that child who was had by a mother who wasn't even married is going to teach you. Do you understand? Now, I'm about to break it down for you quickly. Do I need to read more or not? Did he ask for more?
All the way to verse 20, sir.
Where are we at now?
15, sir.
Keep going a little bit. Go ahead.
And choose the good.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings.
The land that you hate is going to be forsaken of both her kings. Come on.
Is that northern and southern kingdom?
Israel and Judah.
Constant.
Keep going.
Verse 17.
And remember the land you hate, the land you can't stand, the land you're willing to give to the heathens and take their culture and spill it onto the children of God. You hate that land, and both your kings are going to lose it. Keep going.
Concern. And the Lord shall, verse 17, the Lord shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon thy father's house days that have not come.
Upon you and upon your father's house, days that you've never seen before. Go ahead.
From the day that Ephraim departed from Judah.
That's the point. That's the point, everyone. Here's the point. From the day that Ephraim started a civil war with Judah. Why did Ephraim separate from Judah? Because of Judah's arrogance. That's why. What did the king, who was the king over Judah at that time?
It was Solomon before it split.
Solomon's son. Rehoboam. The Bible says that Rehoboam did not listen to his counselors, the counselors of his father, Ahithophel, and he refused to hear them. So what did he do? He said, my father's rod shall be like a pinky, and my rod will be like a tree. Meaning, I'm going to double your taxes. If you think my father was rough on you, wait, it's going to be like his penis was like this, and my penis is like this. You get my point?
Like if I make it, what was amazing was he didn't listen to the elders. He listened to people his age.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He listened to the kids.
God.
He went and listened. He got all his homies and listened to them. But the seasoned cats who knew how to make a nation stable, he ain't hearing them. You know why? Because that ain't enough tough talk. The kids like to talk a ton of tough talk. But seasoned men go, listen, Knock, don't F with Ephraim like that. What are you going to do? Raise all of their damn taxes until they say to themselves, well, shit, I might as well just break off from the kingdom rather than be poor. You get my point? Rehoboam inspired a rebellion. He inspired it. But why? Because it was tough. Because he was better than his father. If they paid his father this much tax, they were going to pay him triple because he was a badass. No problem. The nation broke away 10 tribes. They're gone because he didn't listen. You get my point. The Judites were the tribe of Judah, specifically the house of David, were arrogant, tough-talking, tough Judite bullshit, nonsense. And now because of it, the Ephraimites gathered together the people who would rather not starve, right? And rather have some money, decided it's better just to rebel because what choice did they have? He gave them no choice. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Even the king
of course, everyone knows this was done by the hand of God because of Solomon sleeping with women outside of his race. But I'm giving you the logical, technical reason it happened. Being too rough on subordinates. If you're going to be too rough on a subordinate, when he breaks off, what in the hell did you expect? Every form of flesh wants to survive. If you beat him to goddamn death, then sooner or later he might say, hell, maybe I'm tired of getting beat to death. Maybe I'll go ahead and leave so I can have a little money and pay for my damn house and kids. And the only way I can do it is to get away from you. He inspired a rebellion. Does everyone understand? Keep going.
From the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, even the king of Assyria.
You get that. Keep going.
Concert, verse 18. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the fly that is in the uttermost part of the rivers of Egypt.
Keep going.
And for the bee that is in the land of Assyria.
Okay, meaning he's gonna hiss like hiss for the flies in Egypt and Assyria. Keep going. Come on.
That's about captivity again?
Bingo. Keep going.
Concert. Verse 19. And they shall come and shall rest all of them in the desolate valleys and in the holes of the rocks and upon all thorns and upon all bushes.
Meaning the Lord is going to call those flies over here, the bees and the flies, all throughout the strange nations that had us in captivity. And it's going to be a plague of these bugs, of this infestation. And it comes from God. I got to move on. What verse are we in?
The last verse right here.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. In the same day shall the Lord shave with a razor that is hired, namely by them beyond the river, by the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of the feet, and it shall also consume the beard.
Meaning the Lord is going to give us imagine the disrespect in shaving your hair bald, shaving your beard off. He's going to emasculate you with the other nations. He's going to take away your honor and your glory and your manhood. Why? Because you're so damn proud, house of David, house of Judah. So this is what I'll do. Before this event happened, right? Now, it's hard to understand this because we've been slaves so long. I was talking to this about Kadazar too, about the lineage in Luke and the lineage in Matthew. It's difficult for us to understand this because now all of us are commoners. For 1 second, think like a nobleman. Think like it matters who is in your family. It matters that you can run down who your family is, what your bloodline is. So now, like for instance, in the royal family, for the shout out to Parasha in the UK, give them a hand. Over there in the UK, there's a bitch who used to work on Deal or No Deal, who is the Duchess of Cornwall. That could never happen, Ark, before now. You couldn't go and marry the Duchess of Cornwall. You couldn't do that. That damn prince went and married some woman who was from, listen, she was from an upper class family who was an aristocrat in England. The the other one, Charles. He went and got another side hoe named Camilla. And Diana, which was his original wife, was of royal lineage from Greece. Royalty. You couldn't marry someone who was not royalty. He went and got some side tail who was Camilla, who was of the top class in England, but not royalty. She wasn't a peer, which is what they call it in England, peerage. You got to marry a peer, meaning her granddaddy is a king of some country. Back in the 40s, all of the royal families of Europe were related, all of them. Russia, England, Germany, Greece, Spain, they all were cousins because you couldn't marry outside of royalty. You had to prove that your uncle, your cousin, your grandfather was a king, or else you couldn't marry a woman whose father was a king. You get my point? Prince Charles married Camilla, which is why the queen did not give him the throne until this day. And she's 100 of God knows what. And she still won't let him be king. Go do the research because of what he did with Diana. When Diana's family was royalty in another country. Do you understand? Now you can marry a bitch from Deal or No Deal. Who cares? It's like it's gone now, right? But at one time, you could not do that, Ak. Do you understand? Right? The king of when the Russian Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution happened in Russia, that was the cousin of the queens of England. It was their cousins that got killed. They were all related. Now, put your head there for me, all right? Can everybody do that? Act like it matters who your father is for 1 second, all right? This family was so arrogant and so powerful. Somebody was going to get power who they would look down on. You understand? They would never respect some son who came from a marriage that was not verified by the chief head priest, who came and presided over the marriage agreement, and the dowry was given, and in the eyes of the people, this was the heir to Solomon's throne. This was some broad who had sex in secret. He could never be king. Do you understand? Christ would never be able to be king, period, because of how he was born. He was born in shame and dishonor, which is why his father said was he wanted to put her away privately, because this was a absolutely dishonorable act to go have sex in secret when you are in a royal family. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir.
And Mary, my God, she was a Levite, which meant what? If you study at all, please break it down to me. You don't know the Bible, what it says about Levite women and Levite men? Come on.
One, if she was to be married, she had to be a virgin as a purity, meaning she couldn't deal with anybody else.
You can't have sex before your father gives you permission.
Right.
You cannot do it. Give me something else about Levites. It's in the Old Testament.
They were the priests.
They were separate, joined to him, which means what about Levites? They could only marry other Levites. A Levite could not marry a woman outside of Levi because his bloodline would be stained. You had to marry a Levite. A Levite had those rules you're talking about are Levite rules. Because a Levite could not marry a woman that wasn't this, wasn't that, wasn't from the tribe of Levi, because they were higher in class than the tribe of Judah, higher in class than everyone else. They were the priests. Now, this particular family in Judah is the family of the king. You got two people here, Rock, who are absolute rebellious and evil and disgusting to the upper class, to the rich. Do you understand? What would they rather be done with a woman who had sex and her father didn't get permission? And a woman of Levi who went and had sex with somebody who wasn't a Levite. How would they like to treat that child? Ostracize them. Never accept them. What did God decide to do with that child? Exalt them above you. That's the point. People who you would scoff at. You go, who's your daddy? Who? Him, Joseph? That carpenter's son? This girl's from the tribe of Levi. She's a Levite. She could have married a son of Aaron. She married a carpenter's son. What does the house of Judah go? Oh, wow, you should never do nothing like that. We come from Solomon. You did something like that? Oh, terrible. Meanwhile, that boy is ruling everybody.
Right.
That one that everyone looks down on is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. What did that do to that rich aristocratic house? What does that do to that rich, proud house? It humbles them. It humbles them. Now it brings them down low. Now you were so arrogant, so proud, so puffed up. Now that'll teach you a lesson. Now call him king. Call him king. Now call him king. I know he's not like you. Oh my God. Your father is Aaron, right? Aaron is your father. Solomon, you come from Solomon. Call him king. They had sex in secret, kept it a secret until finally he got courage enough to walk out and tell everybody that was his kid. Do it. Go ahead and call him king now, because he's better than you. With all of your richness and your lineage and everything and how wonderful you are, you call that child of what do they call it today? When you call that child born out of wedlock king. That's the point. That's how it relates to Christ. All right.
Is that also similar to Gideon?
Remind me.
I believe if I'm not mistaken, Gideon, he was kind of like disowned by his people because he's the one that led the army and only.
I remember, but I don't recall that. I just can't remember. Go ahead. Come on.
I don't think it was Gideon. It was a brother. I think Prince 11.
I'm not sure. You look at it on your own. All right? I can't verify whatever you say.
Okay.
Look it up on your own. I can't verify it. General Maya.
I was just gonna say as an example, everybody saw that movie Coming to America. It's like when the king was looking for the prince, they said, "Yo, the prince is in love with my daughter, the daughter of a
A commoner.
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Nonsense.
No. Nah, because they thought they were above that. Well, I'm going to give you a sign. Skip down to he shall be born in he shall come a flower to come out of the dry land. That might be Isaiah 53, but you get the point. That's how it relates to Christ. Come on with it. I got to go up front.
You said you wanted Proverbs 8 or something.
Remind me of that.
Also,
Read
sir.
it for me, please. Kadazar, where are we at with this? When should I wrap it? Now or in a minute?
We have a little time, sir.
Also, sir, we got the video too
Of what?
of that judge.
1 second.
It's like you were going to continue on about the importance of the lineages, because
Oh, okay.
yes,
On the same topic, you want to look at Matthew 1 and Luke, what, 3?
yes, sir.
And Luke 3, right? Okay, when you read the lineages, and especially the one now, I can't remember which one of them is more literal. The other one is more fame. Neither one of them is exact. Neither one. Those lineages, when you read in Luke and Matthew, right? They're not birth certificates, which is how I think you read them kind of like literal DNA.com family trees, and that's not what they are. This evidence was written down by the disciples to make the case that Christ has a stronger claim to the throne than the current king of Israel at that time. Was it Herod at that time? I don't know who was at the time of Christ, right? Herod was king over Israel. His father was a Roman, was an Edomite, right? His mother, she was from an aristocratic family, right? She was from a rich, prominent family of dignity and respect. And guess what? The father was a Roman, which meant what for him? He was even more prominent, more famous. So people at the time said, that should be our king. From the mother's side, she's, rich and powerful. The father is a Roman, lord. Make him king. Sounds good. That's the best we have. But then the disciples came up under Christ and said, nah, look at his lineage. And the names in there are not the names of literally what man had sex with his literal mother, but with the names that prove he is a better king, has a better bloodline than the king they're serving at that time. And that's what both of those lineages are. What you have to key on is that Joseph is in both of them. Joseph, because both of them are the bloodlines of Joseph, both lineages. Can I give you an example? Christ is called the son of David. Everybody knows that, right? He's a son of David. Well, in Luke, it'll say so-and-so begat so-and-so, right? Does that mean that that is who the literal man is who had sex with his mother? No, it does not mean that. Just like Christ is not the literal son of David. He is not the son of David. So why in the hell does he say it all through the Bible? To prove the point that he should be king of Israel. It's a political statement. It's not a lineage like your birth certificate. It's not a family tree. That's not what it is. It's a document saying this is better than yours. You serve Herod or this guy and this guy. Look at my cat. You got Solomon. You got Ruth in here. Have you heard of the book of Ruth? Oh, Ruth is famous as hell, Lot. Well, she's in his bloodline. Ruth ain't in your bloodline. Look at this cat, this guy, this guy. This man, his bloodline is better than the one that's in charge now. It is not so you can just log down who everybody's daddy is. Let me tell you something else. Nor is the book of Chronicles or all of those lineages. This goes to my topic, Captain Cartazar. This is something that we as slaves don't quite get. We don't know the point for things. Why are lineages in the Bible? What's the point? Surely the lineage of every man, woman, and child is not in the Bible, right? Would you agree with that, or do I have to prove that? The lineage of every man, woman, and child on the earth at that time is not in the book of Chronicles. Whose lineage is in the book of Chronicles? In the book of Samuel's? And why are they in there as opposed to Joe the fishmonger or Sammy the corn seller? Why are those lineages? It seems like nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. Is that true? Okay, do you know about the lineages in the Bible? Do you know so-and-so begot so-and-so, and so-and-so begot so-and-so, and so-and-so begot so-and-so? Well, those are not the lineages to every man in the Bible, right? I mean, every man that lived. What are those in there for? Levi?
To establish who the power goes to.
To establish power. That's the point. They're not there so that you 5,000 years later can go, oh, so-and-so is his granddaddy. Oh, so-and-so is his granddaddy. What in the F point is that? That's why it's there? Well, if that's there, why isn't every man that was ever born, his lineage is in the Bible? Right. This guy's lineage is in there. Why? So you can have reason to obey him. So you can know he comes from good stock. He deserves your loyalty. Look at who his granddaddy is. Look at who his father was. Look at who is in his bloodline. That's the point. Is that not how it was done with Aaron? The sons of Aaron, the sons of this, this cat goes back to Obed. This cat goes back to this man. Obey him. Look at who his grandfather is. The point is power, and power is everything. There is nothing else. That is the point of this breath that we're leaving. That's the point, to accumulate power, to get it. And there is only one true way to get true power, and that is to serve the power. There is no other way to get it. There is no other way that lasts. And if you're a man and not trying to get power, then someone has power over you. I pray you understand. Now, when you read Chronicles, get that. Oh, look at this cat here. He's running them back. Listen, is there a white man somewhere in there? Does it say whore that you met on the street? Is that somewhere in that lineage? Does it say, drunk bastard did no? Does it say we don't know who this daddy is? Does it say, fish man, random nigga who bought your mama drinks? That's not in there. It's not in there because the point is this cat's bloodline is strong, which means he's strong. That's the point. Then one day some cat grew up and his father went and was a carpenter from Nazareth. And we got to follow him. Nigga, have you read my lineage in Chronicles? I'm not following him. His father was a carpenter from Nazareth. I'm not following him. Yes, you will. You are going to follow him. Even though I can go back to Chronicles and read about all of the wonderful kings and, potentates and dignitaries, you're going to follow the son of a man who had sex in private with a woman, made a baby, and he made dresser drawers. You're going to follow him, and you're going to do what the F he tells you to do. That's the point, all right? Let me give you one last one to back that up. Online, quickly.
So we have that video of the white judge.
Do your thing.
Constant.
Did I need to go Psalms 30 and 5, the one that Kadazar you pulled earlier? This is one I meant to get into tonight. Psalms 30 and 5. I might wrap it up with that one. And there was another one about power that I have to give you. This is in the New Testament. Where the hell is that? Oh, it's Philippians 2 and 21. Just play the video briefly, all right?
Constant.
Fuckers, why the left ear?
When I pull up in the whip, they be saying, "God damn."
Why are your lights on? They're like, pull up.
And mom's yelling, "Nigger! Nigger!"
Again, we have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Look, I told.
Stop. This is a judge that sits on a bench every day and decides whether black people go home or go to jail. Of course, she's an unbiased judge. All of her judgments are made strictly according to the rule of law, right? But someone taped her at home to realize who she is. Someone attempted to break into their car or to their home, and they're watching the ring cam video of this black person who's attempting to rob them. They quickly jumped on him, went and got a gun and subdued him. And this is the judge this is the child of the judge who's saying, Mom went to yell nigger. There's a nigger, when she saw someone trying to rob their car. Play it again.
Yes, sir.
Buggers, why the left ear?
When I pull up in the whip, they be saying, "God damn."
Why are your lights on? They're like, pull up.
And mom's yelling, "Nigger! Nigger!"
Again, we have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Look, that's me.
No, that's
I came from the backside.
Now, once again, so this judge then, wrote a statement like, "I'm so sorry." She said she was on pain pills at the time. So really, it's not her fault. I mean, come on now. She was on them Percocet talk. Listen, what could she do? That's about, when you read the bottle of Percocets, it says that if you take this drug, it will make you call someone a nigger. It really would. You can't blame her for that. It's on the bottle. This drug might cause you to call somebody nigger. So that was her excuse, that she was on, what did she say again, Ash?
She said she was on medication and she doesn't remember this.
That is the nigger medication. The medication makes you say nigger. So really, forgive her. Now, why is this an important story? This one proves the bias of the court system, which is what Commanding General Your Honor has been saying since you were a child. He's been saying that when you go to court, there's a system in court that is oppressing you, that you will rise up higher through the ranks of the legal system if you hate blacks and Hispanics. You will raise up higher through the law enforcement levels if you hate blacks and Hispanics. All right? And she's a judge who rules over your life because she's racist. But now you have proof that she is. But let me give you the more important part to you, because that part you can't do anything about. Our oppressor will exalt and promote who he wants to promote. But you know what you can do? You can never put yourself in a situation where some white woman can look down on you.
Right.
That you can do. You can always hold yourself in a manner that never gives any white person a way to say you are beneath them. And by robbing some white woman's house and trying to steal her car, then she can look at your people and say, you niggers are a bunch of car thieves. You niggers are a bunch of insurance scammers or PPP loan scammers. You niggers are a bunch of child credit scammers or working schemes and scams for your income tax. You create the reputation that gives every enemy a license to dishonor us. That makes you lose power. It's powerful to never steal. Never. To never steal anything, so that no one ever looks at your people as beggars who can't take care of themselves. If you are in need, then you can be provided for. The Lord can make a way for you to be provided for. The alternative is you being looked down on by some animal who you should look down on. This takes away power. Crime makes you lose power. It demotes you as a man and as a nation. And that's what this poor brother has done. Do you see them laughing? Play the laughing, Asher.
Yes, sir.
Play it again.
Yes, sir.
And the rest of you, I want you to go to 1 Corinthians.
Yes, she does.
Play that for everyone. Everyone else go to 1 Corinthians. Salaki, please.
Buggers, why are the lights when I pull up in the whip, they be saying, God damn.
Why are your lights on? They're like, pull up, pull up.
And mom's yelling, nigger, nigger.
No, Henry, have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Where the roach part at?
Yes, sir.
Oh, shit.
Nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Look,
Yeah, it was.
Nigger. It's a nigger.
I'm not
Like
playing
a
that.
roach.
look,
No, I'd rather starve. I'd rather just starve. I would rather just starve, live outside with my honor. And honor has to become more important than drugs, which is, if you get rid of drugs, you might cut the crime by 90%. Right. If you get rid of smoking weed and popping pills and all of your effing lust, now you can earn respect, Doc. Now you can have power. All right. Give me 1 Corinthians.
Yes, sir.
16 and 13.
Come on, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
1 second, and I have it right here, sir.
Go ahead. So, as you know, this is one of the letters that Paul wrote. There's another one in Philippians 2 and 21. It's also good. Okay, this is one of the letters that Paul wrote to the different schools that he was over. And then the Most High had these books be recorded in the Bible so we all could learn from these letters. So we all could govern the schools of Christ today the same way Paul governed those schools in his time. And that's why we have the letters of Paul. All right, because we are those schools back again in the reincarnation with God, with the Lord's Holy Spirit on these schools as the Holy Spirit was on those schools in that time. So now the UPK reads these letters and we consider them orders from God.
Right.
Everyone understands?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Concert. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. Watch ye, stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men.
Quit you like men. When you look up the word quit, right? The word quit, its modern day meaning is different than the archaic or the original meaning. The word quit means now to leave someplace. The word quit back then meant to behave yourself in this manner. If you need proof, you can look it up in your damn dictionaries. All right, come on.
Concert. Archaic definition is behave in a specific way.
There you go. Shalom. All right. So when you read the word quit, that's what it means. Behave like a man. Act like a man. Read it again.
Concert. From the top, sir?
Please.
1 Corinthians 16 and 13.
So this is now Paul is in prison, but he's writing these letters to the school in Corinth. And he's telling them, go ahead.
Watch ye, stand fast in the faith.
Watch you, stand fast in the faith. What does that mean? That means don't fall out of the truth. Don't stop believing what you believe. Stand fast in it. Once again, fasten is like fastening a nail or fastening something, meaning stick. Don't move. Keep going. Sir, I'm sorry.
To fix.
To fix. There you go. Same thing. Go ahead.
Quit you like men.
Mm-hmm.
Be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going, sir.
Yep.
Come. Verse 14. Let all your things be done with charity.
So now when you go to do a thing, do it with charity, man. Do it with love, which is what the word charity means. But not love like making love or sex, which is the only kind of love the Romans knew at that time. That love that means brotherhood, man, kindness.
Concert.
Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. I beseech you, brethren, ye know the house of Stephanus, that it is the first fruits of Achaia.
So now remember, Paul isn't there, right? He's in prison. So now he's talking about this house of Stephanus, and he's going to run down their good works. Go ahead.
And that they have addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints.
Addict is another word. Addict, well, it means the same thing today. Addict means like something that you do continuously.
So basically, they became zealots.
There you go. Yeah. Like they did this and they did it constantly. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 16. That ye submit yourselves unto such.
That you do what?
Submit yourselves unto such.
That you do what?
Submit yourselves unto such.
Now Paul is in prison, and what is he saying?
He's saying submit yourselves unto.
You're going to submit yourself under Stephanus.
Concert.
Stephanus is coming to Corinth, and you better do what the hell he tells you to do.
Right.
Now that's in the New Testament, right?
Yes, sir.
That's in the New Testament. I'm sending Stephanus down there. You know about him. You know about his work and how he constantly does this for the Lord. I'm telling you, submit to Stephanus. You do what Stephanus tells you to do. That is rank in the New Testament. It's right there in front of you. Right. Submit. Because if you cannot submit to someone, then you can't have power. You individually can't have any power because you're just you. And without being a soldier, you are just a guy. And so I was telling Julian Hunter today, brother, I can't even think about it because it makes me sick and terrified. It's terrifying to me. What if one day I was not a soldier? What if one day I did not have Commanding General Yohana to obey? You know who I would be? A guy. Just a guy. I'd be a guy's on chat house, trying to figure out the Bible. I find some like-minded people, and we would debate. And what I don't understand on chat house is, okay, you're all on there talking about what you think the Bible is, right? And you all disagree. So who's right? So then, okay, let's say one day I go, Kadazar, you're right. You're the right one. So then do I debate again the next scripture? Damn. You know who's on Chat House? Guys. Just guys, good old boys and guys, and you're a guy. I cannot be a guy. I cannot do that.
Nothing special.
I have to be a soldier.
Constant.
But to be a soldier, I need someone to submit to. I can't be a soldier without General Yohana. You get my point? I don't know, and I know they don't get this, but without him, I'm a guy trying to figure out what's right. Who else is doing that? Everyone. Right. Every man who is not in the school is a guy trying to figure out right and wrong from day to day, trying to do the best he can for his wife and his family. But if you're a soldier, then I'm not figuring out right and wrong. I have clarity of purpose. You understand?
You're told.
And it's so clear what to do.
Constant.
It's crystal clear what to do. Why? Because he told me to do it.
Constant.
You understand?
Constant.
But if I don't have him, then I'm a guy trying to study. You open up the Bible, learn Greek, learn Hebrew, and maybe, just maybe, I'll figure out what's right until I have another question. That is not the life for me, young brothers. You understand? I can't be a guy. I can't be Joe Schmo. I can't be everyday Sam. I have to be a soldier. To be a soldier, you need someone to submit to. And Paul is helping them. He can't be there. He's sending Stephanus. Do you know his record? You know his damn record. You know him. Here he comes. Everybody understands? And when he gets there, you obey. What has Commander General Yohana done? He sent out to Zaryak. He sent out Katazar, Gadalhar, Quamwa'al, Mawquad. Obey them. Obey, or else you're just a guy. You're just a guy. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 16. That ye submit yourselves unto such, and to everyone that helpeth with us.
Oh, listen, not just to Stephanus, but everyone that helps us. Everyone that helps you? No. Everyone that helps us, you're going to obey. You're going to obey. You're going to obey everyone that I like. Everyone that I say is a good brother. Everyone that was there to help Commanding General Yohana do this and do that and that thing. That is who you will obey. That's what you'll do because you're a soldier. And that is the only life for them like us. Keep going.
Concern. And laboreth.
And work. Keep going.
Verse 17. I am glad of the coming of Stephanus and Fortunatus and Achaicus. For that which was lacking on your part, they have supplied.
Let me tell you, the things that you didn't have, they gave it to you. I was happy that they went down there because you didn't know how to do this and didn't know how to do that. So now here they come. Speaking of that, how did I forget? Commanding General Yohana has put me back on the road. I got to hit the road again. Commanding General Yohana is sending me to Arizona. Give Arizona a hand. As everyone knows, I've been ordered to go to Arizona next month. I'm thinking about 3 or 4 weeks. All right, I'll be in Arizona. Arizona, prepare to present your quality in Arizona. Commander General Yohana is sending me to Arizona to review the men in the school in Arizona, and I will report directly to him what I find. All right, your city is next. This would to make these trips more profitable and worthy. What you want to do, you camp leaders, is get a school in your cities, man. Go in your cities and get power in your cities. If you're a camp leader, you get yourself transportation, vans for your school. Get a building so your brothers and sisters can meet at and congregate in and talk and teach and eat together. Get your camps going out every damn week regularly. Get your operations up food programs and clothing giveaways. Get your operation in order. Present something that is worthy of Command and General Yohana's visits, and he'll send somebody to come see your quality up. Arizona has done that. The camp leader down there, give Lahab a hand. And what's that strong cat? He got another outstanding Issachar right down there in Arizona. Say his name? Amatazar. Give him a hand. Well, their work has shined up to Commander General Yohana, and he's sending me out there to see him. So I'll be out there in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or something like that. Who's next? UK, you better present yourself because you're next. The UK, give Parasha a hand. Give Canada a hand. Oh, we Canada a bun. We'll see what you got. I hear a lot of talk out there. We'll see. We'll see. Come on. Just sending Jeremiah to Boston. We'll see what you have, Boston. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, Mayak. Jeremiah is going to Boston. Connecticut, prepare to present your quality to General Mayak. Boston, prepare to present your quality. It's coming. All right? Why? Because we were told to in this Bible. General Yohana read it, and he does what the Bible says. Everybody gets that, right? Any other questions with that? I think I broke that down. Come on.
If I may,
Go ahead.
Dealing with Israel, when we look in the from Babylon to Timbuktu,
Mm-hmm.
it talks about the state of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about a republic of Israel.
Gotcha.
Can you break down briefly, Adawan, how does that relate to us being a monarchy, having a state as opposed to a republic, or there's no correlation?
Okay, yeah. Okay, give me the precept that you're referring to, please.
No precept, so it's just in the book of
Okay, the word state, right? I read that recently, the word state, right? The word state that we think today as state is not the state in the Bible. The state in the Bible is like the condition, right? But if you have a precept, then that'll illuminate it better if you have it. Just look up state if you would. I think it's right here in Philippians. Hold on. You just reminded me of something. It's in Philippians 2:21, as a matter of fact. I'm sorry, Mayak, go ahead. Is that I'm thinking you're talking about the Bible. Right. That is talking about the state, the Jewish state, because it's not the Bible, it's the Romans and how the Romans think. The Romans think that this is a state because to the Romans, this is a Roman province. You get my point? This is not a individual country. This is like Pennsylvania and Michigan that are part of America. At that time, Israel was part of Rome. It was just like Pennsylvania to them. Do you understand? So it was a state literally in Rome because it was a province under the federal government in Rome. Am I explaining that correctly? So just think Pennsylvania or Connecticut or New York State that are part of America, the United States of America. You understand? All right. Where are we at now? Okay, I guess I don't need to pull that one about state then. You're good to go with that, all right? What am I missing? Someone else just said something else. Come on. Okay, go ahead and read that. No, I want to end it with, that's a good one. I don't have time, though. Give me Proverbs 30 and 5. This is the thing. Get Proverbs 30 and 5. Commanding General Yohana has another gift. This is for the city of Chicago. Give Chicago a hand, right? Right here in my phone. Commanding General Yohana. Let me get this right. Hold on. I forget everything. Damn it. Bear with me. Okay, here we go right here. I wish I could put this up on the screen. Okay, hold on. Let me give it to you. Chicago, pay attention. If you're in Chicago, Captain Mawakwa, listen carefully real fast, all right? This has to be done tomorrow if you want to get down on it. Okay, Shar, I'm sending it to you now. Okay, here we go, Shar. Okay, you got that. Now, this is for Chicago. Of course, to do this, you have to go through Captain Mawakwa, who's in charge down there in Chicago. But Commander General Yohana has purchased 2 tickets to a comedy show. Give him a hand. You like to laugh and giggle. All right. If you're in Chicago, there's a comedy show for free. You're going to go to see a comedy show. So Captain Mawakwa, you can give this to a good brother in his rib or two strong brothers rocking down there in Chicago, but it's tomorrow. You got to go tomorrow night in the city of Chicago, or else I would be on a plane taking your tickets and going to the show. But since it's tomorrow, I can't be there. So because of that, Captain Mawakwa, if he's not watching tonight, let him know, all right? Someone give him a call, all right? You can go to see a comedy show. Outstanding, wonderful. Laugh it up. Have a good night. Take that wife out for a date. Hell, you keep her constantly washing them dishes and going to work. Send her out. Go take her out. Take her out on the town. Let her get dressed up. Put something on and go out there and laugh. Put your arm around her in the club. Laugh. Get a few drinks. Why not? Buy a few drinks in that club. Take the sister out on a night. Get somebody to watch them kids for you and take your rib out. This is called what again? If you let me know when you have it out so I can move on.
I'm getting them right now, sir.
The picture don't look so hot, but I'm assuming it's going to be funny. All right. So you go watch it. It's in Chicago and where is it at? Oh shit. By Lincoln Lodge. I don't know. It's 2040 North Milwaukee Avenue. The Lincoln Lodge at 2040 Milwaukee Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Mawakwa, you handle who gets the tickets, all right?
Right there, sir. It's on the screen now. There
you go. It's a cat with a lampshade on his head. He's blacking out. It's called the Blackout. Put it up there, big, so I can move on.
It's like the Blackout Diaries.
There you go. Blackout Drunk. That's
hilarious drinking stories.
It's a lot of stories about getting drunk, y'all. All right? Go down there to Chicago. Listen to the drunk stories. Take your woman out for the night. Have a good time, all right? The water manager know your honor. Give him a hand. All right. Now. Okay, here we go now. What do we have here? Let me tell y'all, brother, something now. Now, Mayak, you're going to know these pictures in here. Ashar went and got together with some other brothers, right? You know, we've been making calendars in the UPK, my God. I mean, since the 90s or 80s or something like that, we do a calendar in the UPK. Ashar went and found pictures drawn in 1994 and before, right? In this book. This book is older than your fake Israelite group. This thing right here in my hand, and that is literally true. This is older than the Purple Faggots, older than GMS, older than the House of David, older than all of the random ones that I don't even know. Older, right? Which is why it's in black and white. Because when the brothers originally made these stories, made these pictures back in the 90s, all they had back then was those black and white copies, right? That's all they had. And so now all of the pictures, let me show you a couple. This is a paria, Maya. If you remember this picture. I remember this. I saw this. Oh my God, it took me back. I had a flash of memories just looking at this, right? This is Ephraim, right? A parium, right? These pictures are very old. And a lot of the brothers signed them. Some brother named Yashar Allah. I don't know who in the hell he is. But he did one good act in the work of the Lord before whatever happened to him. He made this calendar. And it's here. It's here right now, today. That's one of the names right there, signed at the bottom. Right there. These pictures come out of New York. 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. That's where these pictures come from. Right? He found them and put them as they were. And that original black and white, when they printed them back then, before computers, when nobody had all these computers and ability to print things up and make them however you wanted to make them in color, when you drew it by hand and went to Kinko's to go fill it out. Well, I was telling a brother today, even our seal is so old, that's why there's no blue in it. Because that's how old it is. That ring is blue. But it's so old back then when they had to just sit and put a dime in that little slot. You remember that, Mayak? Yeah. You take a dime and put it in the slot and push it, and that's how you just start making your copies and coming in with a handful of goddamn change to make your camp flyers. And just some of them getting change from the goddamn, where did we get change from? The laundromat? I think the laundromat is something we used to do. And we get a ton of dimes. Now we ready to go to camp. ready to go to camp now. And he has these the original black and white from 94, 92, 89 up in this book. Let me give you a few more. Let me give you another thing. In a regular calendar, as time went on, you could go buy a calendar and put your pictures on them, right? And because of that, there would be Martin Luther King's birthday, Christmas, which was unavoidable because later in time. But Ashar went through the trouble. Who worked with you on this?
Trooper Izarakia.
Trooper Izarakia.
It's like your Officer Yawa Allah and Trooper Izarakia.
Trooper Izarakia and Officer Yawa Allah.
Yawa Allah.
They went through the trouble to make it from scratch. There's no Christmas in this calendar, no Martin Luther King's birthday, no Labor Day, because they made it from scratch. On this calendar, only the Most High God's high holy days. All of the Sabbaths are marked on this calendar. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, right here on this calendar. The Passover, right here on this page, on the calendar right here. Come on.
How much?
How much? $30.
Right now.
Right now.
Come on.
Give him a hand. This one, matter of fact, give me the pen.
That one is Commander Jerry Hanna.
Oh, give me the other one. Give me one so I can sign it. Also, Ashar wants us to sign it. Mayak, you can sign it as well. We're going to sign the first copies of these so we can continue these and make these every year. Look at the back. The back is not made by some company who makes calendars. That's not what this is. This is from scratch, beginning to end. Ashar wanted us to sign it. I'm going to take Commander General Yohana his copy so he could sign it right here. Where do I sign it, Ashar? Where do I sign the back? I'm going to sign it way in the back.
Right in the front, sir?
Let me put it in the back for the brother Cotters. I'm going to jam up your whole calendar. Let me go. I'll sign it right here. No
and that marks all the ones that are signed marks the first edition.
No, this pen doesn't work out. Give me a pen. I'll sign it for you. Maybe don't cross the line real fast. All right, that pen is dry. So I can. Okay, no sweat.
Oh, they had a bull on it. That's why.
Okay, no slucky, no sweat. Right here is good. Okay, that's it. Done. Here you go. Shalom. Give him a hand. All right. With that, let's pass the class over to Priest Officer Shaw. Shalom.
We're going to get one person Amadi, Barak.
Yahweh Shimi Al Shah.